And we are back with Sulphur Winter, the role-playing game, Book 1, Sulphur Winter. Yes, this first part of the grand campaign is called Sulphur Winter. That's how it starts, not how it ends. And with us tonight we have, in order, my overlay order from left to right, Josh.
Hey folks, my name's Josh, and I'm playing Erald de Meld.
Who is what?
The Inquisition, for all intents and purposes.
And then we have Sin.
I am Cincinnatus, or Sin. I am playing Lady Taralese da Bravaleti. She is a noble.
Mm-hmm.
Praetorian noble.
I'm sure she has no secrets worth mentioning.
Oh, none.
And then we have Rook.
I'm Rook. I'm playing Malakai, what some people would maybe consider a gentleman privateer.
Indeed. And then last but not least,
I'm Jess. I am playing Praanz da Kaelve, and I am apparently the Dirty Harry of the Secret Service.
yes, I would think so. That's not a bad description. Yep. So here we are, back in Arhem, still in Arhem, and you had a long day of investigations back and forth, which ended with... I should not run ahead of myself. In this game, there's a mechanic saying that the player who summarizes the last session gets a fate die. So, any volunteers?
So, we all finally came together. Meeting of the minds in a less than savory location.
I resent
Provided
that.
by our resident captain. There was information exchange, quite a bit actually. Primarily the fact that there seems to be a missing weapons shipment going around, and a certain not-so-secret police woman going around kicking down doors, trying to find her missing weapons cache. She's making friends all across town with everyone as she takes her boot and applies it to door vigorously, and then proceeds to interrogate anyone and everyone quite violently. Thus far, she's not been successful necessarily in being able to find out where it is. However, our resident captain, through more discreet means, was able to find out some additional information, including with, it might be with that excavation group that came in with Taralese and Erald. And at the present moment, we are all getting ready for a ball.
For the record, the tip-off about the weapons came from an unnamed concerned citizen, not Captain Malakai.
True.
Mm-hmm.
True. It did indeed. Yes, there is a mystery here. Now-
Violence would have gotten there eventually.
If it doesn't work with violence, it's going to work with more violence. Yep. Also, what did we say when it was a violence, will, and how do you translate that? Weapons fat. We call it weapons fat in Sweden. What do you like? When I served, we said that we could solve everything with violence.
Firepower.
And no, weapons fat, the stuff that you use to grease your weapons with. Weapon grease? To maintain them?
Gun oil.
Gun oil.
Gun oil.
Gun oil.
There we go. Those are the three things you can do to solve everything with. Gun oil. Okay.
That is one other mystery I forgot about, though. We did go and actually visit the sulfur mines at one point in her desire to follow any and everything as the guards were being summoned to go and investigate, as the slaves apparently were revolting and not taking their zombine, to which she had an encounter with a apparently familiar alchemist.
Yes, she did, and he was out of it and very scratchy, and not terribly communicative in any way, shape, or form.
He also seemed like he might slightly be an idiot.
He is an idiot.
There's something rotten in the
Confident,
state
at
of
least.
Denmark.
Yes, or Arhem, as the case might be. Even as everything like this happened, while the four of you came together and started plotting various things, you are not the only people with agendas in Arhem. For the audience, part of the Svavelvinter role-playing game is the Game of Shadows. It's a mini-game that allows all the players, and this is both these present four agents and the adventurers and the big bad. We have a big bad who hasn't shown up on screen yet, who all of them have minions, and these minions you can see on this board that I have now on the screen, the Smickle board of power and influence, if you will, as they maneuver their various minions and try to get influence in various parts of the city of Arhem. And this is exactly what happened meanwhile as this particular group of agents were doing their thing. So let me report on that and summarize what happened so that the audience can take part of this properly. Over in the fisheries in the northwestern part of town, if you will, the Trinsmere freedom fighter Lemur Spade and the Duchess Klenora da Spinalunga both had agents in place. Lemur has some spies, and they were infiltrating and embedding themselves in the area and building dossiers on folk, who's important, who's cheating on their wife, who's embezzling from their employer, and so on and so forth, and thus gaining strength. Klenora's merchant was spending the day establishing what the current prices are from which fishers, who has what quotas, who the shipwright and rope makers are, and so on. Meanwhile, in Lowtown, let's just go according to the sphere's geographical area there. Again, Lemur had some street toughs who came ashore from the ships. They've infiltrated, all the ships have been infiltrated by various minions here. And these street toughs have spent their time drinking, hooray, and providing a sympathetic ear to anyone who has been wronged by their occupiers, by their Tracorian occupiers. Particularly, they're interested in recruiting any orphans created by Tracoria. Because who doesn't want child soldiers? This is written by the players, by the way. So you know. In Lowtown, of course, Sambarsund Korea, who is the Master Inquisitor who sent out Mereld, has some merchants affiliated with the Inquisition, and they've been starting to set up shop and find key needs that might be missing and investigate where they can find their own niche. Lots of merchants clearly came with this convoy, which isn't strange because it's a merchant convoy. And let's see now, what else did we have there? Oh yes, Girion Groteski is another of the anti-Tracorian freedom fighters, but he is from Palamux, not Trinsmere. And he has some people here too, infiltrated the laborers who have been working on the ships, and they have now gone ashore and made themselves a guild to protect themselves from exploitation. Oh, I didn't write down Ingolma's thing there. That's sloppy of me. I'm so sorry. Where did that go? Yes. So, these moneymakers. So, Ingolma Dokela is a mafioso based in Trisilva. And her agents are also starting to infiltrate Arhem because, of course, wherever there is profits to be made, organized crime will come very soon. And these bookies, they have been making a bunch of deals, running games, and, in fact, set up a gambling establishment in a basement in Lowtown. And this has been very popular with the locals. And in fact, one of the local influential people, a Marjuran, is already greatly in debt to these bookies. Hence, they now have influence level 1 in that region. And let's see now. The infirmary, that was also a place of many intrigues, wasn't it? Fundibera has some priests there. Fundibera is a witch on Trinsmira, and she is, I would argue, not really creationist. So we have influence of horrible forces here, Joshua. Indeed. And these priests, they are dedicated to the moon goddess Luvena. They're hidden priests. They have not come forth with their identity. And they have been going out of their way to minister to the injured and the frightened and the abandoned now that the infirmary is closed. And they've had some success with that. Also in that area, Sambarsun's secret agents have begun to make their way into town to infiltrating locals and establish relationships with them. Goba da Grummi has a wizard in this area. This is the affiliation with the Secret Service. And this wizard has noted the absence of medics and, much like the hidden priests, made his services available around the infirmary, and those services are, of course, greatly appreciated, strengthening his own position. The wharfs and the warehouses, there's intrigues everywhere, isn't there? Here we've had Vemsica, of course. It's by the shoreline. The pirate admirata who Malakai works for. A group of war-painted privateers have begun to reinforce the docks, delivering anyone there without cause to the Admiralty. They are definitely intimidating to see, and I have a feeling that the Dracorian soldiers are letting them be at this moment. Girion has some spies there. They've set themselves up around the wharves, taking their time to see who does what and scout out the area. And the Shaglites under Graphicanus have some mentalist magic going on here. People are getting information, maybe through dreams, maybe through word whispered to them from someone, but they couldn't see who it was, about the suspected weapons smugglers. It's a good idea to make people work for such things. It's no fun to talk to everyone directly. And the information is spreading there. What else did we have there? Some mafiosos there. Some of the Ingolmas muscle. They are at the wharf area to protect various shipments from Tresilva. And that, I believe, was it for the wharf. In Hightown, we've had... Where did that go? There it is. Lemur has an assassin, and this assassin has spent this time practicing. Scouting out Hightown, noting good hiding places, spots for an ambush, and which places can easily be gotten into. While Gerion's courtiers have been making house calls to learn who is who and who does what. Goba's merchant, meanwhile, has offered fresh consumer goods from Paratorna, which are very quickly snapped up by the homesick nobles of the area. In the garrison, we've had things happening too, of course. A certain seamstress working for Duchess Klenora have been offering services to nobles and bourgeois desperate for the latest fashion trends, or at least something new. This seamstress was helped by a mysterious Callisto sitting at the Reaver's daughter, crossing her legs on her and Mal's bunk. She sent her mind in the form of an ethereal crow to the garrison. the spectral crow would dip and dance through the dreams of those there, collecting the pearl-like memories of the people there and unveiling deep secrets and hidden desires. These simple pearls would be delivered in a dream to the seamstress, whose work then has to satisfy every desire of fashion-conscious nobles becomes that much easier. And thus, the Duchess now has a little bit of pull in the garrison. Meanwhile, Graficana's agents have been assisting the Poda Aruk's agent in her investigation by providing evidence that the situation of the colony's finances is far more complicated than it initially seemed. A massive conspiracy of hostile forces has been targeting the area, one recently thought defeated. As such, it may take quite a long time for the loyal and competent Procurator to regain control of the financial situation. Dangerous. In the market, we've had some of Fundibera's soldiers. They have gathered in some numbers in the market, no doubt in the tavern. But they say, don't fear, good citizen, we're here to protect you and the economy. And as such, they've had a chance to rest up now and become stronger in their position. Goba's spy has gone undercover around the tavern, noting patterns in how people come and go and who they talk to. Lots of spies right now in Arhem. It's a town of intrigue, isn't it? What else did we have there? Oh yes, Ingolma's underworld traders. They are always looking for a deal. And they've been in the market, of course, to make sure that things are going as they should. So, the goods that the organized crime outfit is smuggling through the warehouses get to where they should in the market. What else did we have there? That was, oh, Vemsica's contacts. Yes. Yes, the ladies of easy leisure begin to spend tales of the privateers in collecting rumors and leads to pass back to Mal. And then finally, we have the Sulphur Camp, where Fundibera's prostitutes have drawn by those necessary to keep the sulphur mine and slave camp running. A group of sex workers have found reliable custom from the guards. After all, everyone needs a good time. And the Shagolite necromantic sorcery has also been activated around here. The levels of incompetence revealed by the 4 agents last session cannot be tolerated. But first, gather strength before it is addressed. And that was the first turn of the Game of Shadows in our long campaign. We will see. I have a feeling that before this is over, there will be knives in the dark and various mooks will disappear or take tragic tumbles downstairs or out windows and, you know, maybe some arson and whatnot. Who knows? Only your imagination is the limit, really. Anyhow, here we are then, on the verge of the banquet for this evening. It is a masquerade ball, which you get word of a little bit too late, maybe, because communication from the garrison is not always reliable. That is to say, if you are not in the garrison, it is probably, you know, harder to catch up with the news. It might catch Malakai flat-footed, I don't know. But on the other hand, Malakai's style of costuming is not what is expected around here. So he might just get away with it anyway.
Praanz went to go see the good lady for a outfit because she did not expect to be going to balls on a military mission.
This is correct.
I don't know how that went, but it went.
Apparently there is a very skilled seamstress in the garrison now.
We can make something work, darling.
Very likely.
Much appreciated.
I should say as well, for this Game of Shadows, as you can see, there's number, like Graficanus has number 2 and then Agents 4. That means that Graphicanus has 2 levels of influence in the garrison. As such, should the Shagolite player, who is not present right now, decide, they can basically cause mayhem to one scene during this session, activate that influence, and throw an NPC at you that might help you or spoil your fun in various ways, up to them. Obviously, I have communications with Graphicanus on the dedicated Discord channel. Likewise, Klenora, you have 1 influence and can use that to spread information either to someone else or to... Klenora could give information to Lady Taralese somehow. It's up to you. This session, you can do 1 such thing. And this renews between each session, so there's that possibility. You have to be in the area where you have the influence for your character to be affected by it in some way. So theoretically, if any of you guys go down to Lowtown this session, Ingolma could do things too. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyhow, you are all getting dressed, getting ready. Banquet. It's time for it. This evening. Evenings are long up here. Like, it's 5 p.m., but it's still very much daylight outside. The sun is going to be up for at least a couple of more hours. You're very far north, after all. Still, it's only the 4th month of the year, so you don't have the very, very long summer nights yet. Malakai, Praanz, Erald. How is Erald gonna be dressed tonight? Are you doing a masquerade thing or just going in your usual vestments? Because you were not equipped to be on a masquerade, I believe.
No, but there is a bit of inventory items that he is wearing, and he will actually show up in a black cloak.
Ooh!
Instead of his normal white attire.
I thought you were going with eggshell.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe later.
No, he's totally pulling a Gandalf the White.
Yes, exactly. But, I mean, black, that also means Shamashi priest. That's the impression you're going to send, that you are a Shamashi priest. Just to put that out there.
Yep, that's fine.
Which, yeah.
Buzzkill. Got it.
Yes. Buzzkill.
Malakai will arrive a tad fashionably late to a very aggressive and stylized dance routine from his Marine Honor Guard.
Nice. Yeah,
Was I picking up the ladies at their homes, or were they meeting me here? I'm on 2 dates and know nothing about either.
I believe
most likely you would have met them there.
I will meet them there. Malakai is wearing a very overly tight-fitting green and red leather outfit with a chest full of medals. And half of his face done in very ornate war paint.
Banquet. Let's put some people out there. Let's see now. We have who arrives first?
I've already called fashionably late.
You've already called fashionably late. And you're also coming from your ship, so fashionably late.
I assume Praanz just arrives with Lady Dubravi.
Sure, I'll go first.
Erald will go first.
And only Erald. No Balan.
Oh, Balan is not there?
He's not there.
Ah. Yeah, he would be a bit of an embarrassment. Right? No, I mean...
Yep.
Praanz will insist that she be able to carry weapons somehow with the dress.
Oh, of course, darling. No one ever truly goes in unarmed. Everybody knows that. Please, now, see, if you strap the stiletto like this, and then drape your skirts just like that. There you go.
We should have you in our research and development.
There is a small crowd of people there as you get there, Erald. You would have seen some before, maybe down by the tavern, but not too many. Though there is a familiar face at least. Or two, in fact. Bodeville Scoffer, the very merchant you raided earlier today, is there. And looks about as happy as if he had swallowed a lemon. Trovinder de Holmes, who you did not see during the raid, is in fact there as well. And yes, you can see the Shaggerlight sitting by one of the tables with his bone mask.
Yeah, Erald will go sit right next to him.
Aha! Go ahead. The jester playing up on the podium is in fact the same jester that was down by the tavern, doing somersaults and acrobatics. But right now he's just playing a flute together with a couple of other musicians who are playing like a tambourine and maybe a dulcimer, things like that. And very nice music indeed. Malik will turn his face towards you, then just kind of look back at the table, which is very... I mean, there is a dish there in front of him, but he's not touching it. You can feel a cloud of perfume around the man.
Erald will do his best to try and remember that smell as best as he can, but yeah. Beyond that, Erald will just kind of look over and smile at the same moment that he looks over with his skull mask, and making it blatantly obvious that he recognizes that this is actually Erald, even though he's wearing a Shemasi priest's garb.
Yep. I know who you are and you know who I am, kind of a thing.
Yep.
Does that mean that Taralese and Praanz are the next to arrive?
I assume so.
Yes.
Very well. And together as well.
Yes, Taralese will actually have her arm linked with Praanz's as she comes in wearing a very effervescent, nearly sheer gown that is very inappropriate for a winter wonderland such as Arhem. But nevertheless, fashion is above everything else.
What am I wearing?
Well, I mean, if you look at the latest fashion for wigs, there was an experiment just last season for wigs in Tresilva. It didn't go too well. The wig itself was in a spiral shape up on the head, about 1.5 foot above the head, and included a bird's nest with an actual living bird, a living plume screamer. Unfortunately, the wig kind of tipped over into a brazier with fire in it, and so that, yeah, it had to redo it. But yeah, it was an interesting experiment, to be at least. Others are experimenting with various forms of vines circling around the wig. You can
Don't
see
Giving
that
me
creative.
Georgian vibes.
Don't touch the hairpins. Just leave them be, darling. Just it'll
they're
hurt
not
less
for
if you don't
stabbing?
touch them.
They're not for stabbing?
Only in emergency. That's the only time.
Okay.
Ooh! you hear the outcry from the two various ladies who you were warned about, probably, by Cilicia. And they are coming over to you immediately to fawn over these amazing head creations that you have brought into the ballroom. They do a curtsy and introduce themselves, of course, as they should. One is Alanta, and she is in fact Alanta Tother da Karamak. And the other is Grella da Sanselva. They are wearing fashion that is about 1 year out of date. Probably because that was the latest time a Sulphur convoy came up here with whatever tidings they brought.
Oh, darlings, you look so lovely. It's like you're frozen in time.
Oh, darlings, we are so glad to have you here. So this is the latest fashion in Tresilva, is it? They look absolutely enamored. Oh, it looks almost like a menagerie, doesn't it? It's so practical. You can wear this on your head. And if you get hungry, you've brought your food.
Of course, darlings. Everything is practical this season. And of course, I can help you with that. If you're interested, perhaps after this?
Of course, darlings. They're gonna probably pick up on the fact that Praanz is not as much a courtier as some others.
Praanz doesn't speak, she just occasionally slightly flashes weapons.
Yeah, that part is like the whole...
Now, darling. And she'll kind of gently, place a hand on the ones with the weapons. Save that for dessert, at least. Or at least the sixth course. Wait until everyone's a little more sluggish.
Praanz will gently move her hand off her weapon and just kind of put it on Lady de Bravi's arm.
And now then, who else is here?
Let us introduce you. They will sweep you away and march over. You will hear about Guelmin, who is apparently an elder for the mountain folks. He is dressed, I guess it's nice clothes with some trimming around the cuffs and around the collar and a nice enough cloak, like it's Algesel cloak, but it's nothing special. It's not Tresilvan fashion at all. It's very rustic, very, I guess that's what you can expect from a mountain man, right? His boots are made for walking in the mountains, not in a banquet hall.
That's just
right?
what they'll do.
Yep.
Days in mountain boots.
Had literally the same thought.
Yep. And then there's the Admiral Samra Guvre da Frumbastre.
Oh, and
yes.
she'll kind of lean down conspiratorially to the girls there. You know, if you really want to make waves with him, I know just the man to introduce you to.
Yeah, he is not very tall fellow, but he is very self-confident in his outlook and dressed, of course, in the uniform of the Tricorian Navy with very improvised hairdo that is current fashion in Tresilva. It doesn't really match the Navy uniform terribly well, but it's, I guess, an attempt to masquerade thing. He also has a mask that he holds up to his eyes, so he qualifies for being on the masquerade now. He also wears, of course, his sword at the side, as befits an admiral. They glance over the old fellow with the mustache completely. They just say, "Oh, that's simply Toltola." he does the tolling down by the docks when the convoy comes in. It makes him very fabulously rich. He is, of course, a good disciple of Castique, but he's such a bore. He's a commoner too. Does business.
Ugh. Well, I suppose at least he has money to be able to get things.
Yes, he does have that.
What's Trevinder wearing?
Trevinder is wearing... You know what? It looks like Trevinder is wearing exactly the same clothes that Trevinder wore on disembarking. It even looks like... Yeah. Did Trevinder sleep in that stuff? It's all wrinkled.
Do they make introductions to Trevinder?
Yes, they will. Trevinder will, I'm gonna move you up there as you're kind of this little clique of mean girls who are moving between the tables. Trevinder is standing by one of the walls, kind of leaning backwards with a glass in his hand, and you're coming up, and then that glancy type of the eyes there, or is Trevinder drunk already? Yeah, Trevinder might be drunk. We've met before, says Trevinder, and sweeps the hat off in an attempt at doing a bow that almost misses, almost loses his balance, and then stands up again. Yeah.
My dear, I suppose you're best sticking to the wall. It seems to be the only one holding you up right now.
I am gonna stay here by me wall. Not even an attempt to hide his Trismeran accent anymore.
You know, darling, you look terrible.
Why, thank you. Then I look just like you, I suppose.
Oh, thank you, darling. You think you can be on my level?
I will never reach your level. I cannot dig that deep.
No, but you certainly could maybe reach up every once in a while.
I'm too short.
Not if you wear the right clothes for that.
Oh, I need bigger boots?
No. I think perhaps you need a bigger hat.
That must be the case. I will talk to the Wigmakers Guild right away. Oh, I forget they're in Tresilva.
Yes, but I do know you have a little bit better taste. I'm surprised you wouldn't have dug into it.
Oh, I've been digging, my lady. I've been digging.
Oh, have you? Is that why you stink of sulfur?
That would be the reason why.
Does he have any kind... Besides looking unkempt like he slept in his clothes, is there anything else? Like muddy boots or anything like that?
Nope. The boots are absolutely as pristine as boots can be after having walked the streets of Arhem.
Praanz looks him up and down for wounds of any kind or anything else that might stick out. Like specifically as they're talking, Praanz is like eyeing him with a military eye.
For what? Weapons?
Weapons, wounds of any kind, anything
wounds,
to
yes.
indicate what's...
I'm gonna allow you, if you want to roll wind and add a fate die to your sword play, you could do that. So in this game,
Sure.
Your abilities are not just used when for that particular purpose of for swordplay, for instance, when you're fighting with a sword. It can also be used to collect knowledge around that sphere. So if you want to have, for instance, find someone who is a good smith in a town, well, then you can roll water plus swordplay to use your connections to find the right person. Or in this case, you know, is this person someone who's a good combatant, like measure your enemy or that kind of thing? You can actually use the ability for that too. So as long as it applies, they're kind of wide in that range. They give you a wide level of competence in that sphere.
What is my wind?
Your wind is a 1. You have 4 fate dice at the moment, so you could spend one of those to if you want to add.
If he has chainmail under his jerkin, we're all screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I will add that fate die.
Very well.
And look, it helped.
It did, didn't it? Interesting. I will have to roll a resistance roll, of course. And I am going to cheat and spend one of my fate dice.
I was gonna say, does he get a negative for being drunk?
I have fate dice too, you see. I have a pool of... My pool is always refreshed each session. It's 3 times the number of players around the table. So 3 times 4, 12 for my entire... And that's all the fate dice I have for all my NPCs the entire session. So I'm going to use that now. And I'm going to use that for that purpose. And that's... There we go. And all rolls in this game are public. So you will now know that whomever Trovinder is very good at this kind of thing. Because I have 4 dice for Trovinder to keep secrets and so on. Unfortunately, I only rolled 1 success on that roll, which is terrible. And the aggressor wins ties. Also, you have a 6, and Trovinder doesn't. So you will, in fact, be able to see through Trovinder's clever disguise, and I will give you a little note here in the Zoom chat.
Okay.
So tell me, Trovinder, how are those new slaves going in the new zombie?
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm tremendously disappointed that the apothecary messed up the application of zombie this morning. We have not been able to make any studies at all of this. So I've been confined to the garrison. Well, the town. I've been wandering and seeing the sights, you know.
Seeing the sights? Like what?
Oh, that's a good question. I cannot say that there is much to see around here.
Lady Dubravi will feel Praanz slightly stiffen and move her hand closer to her weaponry.
So that's interesting. You say that you weren't able to get anything done. How did you find out about that, my dear? From what I understand, you haven't been seen anywhere near it.
Well, the soldiers talked on the tavern?
No, what were you doing in the taverns then? I thought you were here to get the work done.
I would, the moment I can. But I was at the tavern to get drunk.
Well, have fun visiting the bottom of the bottle again.
Why, thank you.
Oh, and next time, consider at least washing your face. And she's just gonna walk away with that.
You will have Ninhalaska entering. She's kind of looking around, seeing the two of you, and doing a small curtsy to just acknowledge that you're there. Whenever you want to enter, Captain Malakai, you're fashionably late at this point.
There will be a loud din outside, and then Malakai more burst through the door.
Boom. Like so.
Malakai will enter. Go ahead.
Nin just kind of turns around and takes a few steps backwards as you come in. Oh, you surprised me, Captain.
It's fine, lass. Ain't no one dancing on the tables yet. What kind of party is this?
A civilized one, she says, and kind of with the emphasis on civilized.
Malakai will flash her a very large, very toothy grin.
She will sort of purse her lips and go in a sniffy huff.
With that, Taralese will lean back to Alanta and Grella very conspiratorially. You know, they say he's one of the best captains to ever sail the seas.
Ooh, I
He's
heard...
even put the Admiral to shame.
You know what I heard? She says and leans in. I heard he's a cannibal. Is he really? Or is he, like, from cargo or something? Like, look at all those tattoos. Those tats are amazing.
Somebody's got a bad boy fixation.
Yep.
You know,
Praanz,
dear,
sorry, go ahead, Sin.
perhaps you should go and see if he'll show you more.
Perhaps I should.
Praanz quietly mutters something about being the most violent man she's ever sailed with.
Exciting. They say.
Upon pulling up kind of even with Guelman, Malakai will stop and kind of turn back, clearly confused at this stout, weathered mountain man. What are you here with the Popinjays?
I'm the elder, and I always come for the yearly banquet.
Free food is the draw, ain't it?
Aye, that's it, lad. It's mostly just the free food. You be he's the Admiral. And you be...
Captain Malakai, Procurator and Privateer, on special contract from the Queen of Salt and Spray, Vemsica.
Rubs his chin a bit. Interesting. Say, you wouldn't happen to know any tricks of the trade of, well, moving things discreetly from, say, one place to another, would you?
Malakai would hold up his hand. I keep an office at this lovely little place called the Vulgar Unicorn. I'll be there tomorrow morning before you clear out of town. Come by, we'll speak of these things privately.
Aye, my lad. Holds up like a horn and just kind of clinks whatever glass you have.
Malakai's probably toting a bottle.
And of course, as this is going on, the proceedings are interrupted by a very loud the crashing open really of the door as Celicia, your host for the night, enters, shouting very loudly, "My friends, my guests, I'm so happy to see you all here." She is dressed in the most ostentatious thing you've seen in a long time, Taralese. She has a completely golden dress, golden cloth glinting in the lights around, to which she has sewn two extra sleeves hanging down on her sides, tied to her arms so they kind of wobble about when she waves her arms about. And apparently it's like it's really two pipes of cloth that comes down from her backside that supposedly maybe represents extra legs. Your best guess is that she's trying to do an imitation of the goddess Castique herself. And as she walks in there, "Oh, my friends, we are so happy, the yearly banquet of the Sulphur Convoy," and from her purse, she picks up a wad of coins and she tosses them everywhere, and they clinks around. "Blessings of Castique on everyone." Now, you will know this, Taralese. This is sacrilege. Erald will know this too. Castique would never ever part with any gold at all. You hoard the gold. You keep the gold. You don't throw it around to people. You don't give people gold. That's not how this works at all. But apparently she seems oblivious to that sacrilege. In Chisilva, she would have been terribly embarrassed by now. Everybody would have nah. But she just obliviously walks on. One of these coins, not too far from you, Taralese. It's a copper coin that someone painted golden.
Oh, my dear Silesian, she'll go over and, kiss the cheeks.
Yes.
Oh, my dear.
Oh,
You
the Colonel
so well
and
put
Lady
together.
Taralese. She will kiss you back. Now, I have arranged everything for tonight, of course. We don't want any embarrassments. Oh, yes, I can see that the Shamashi priest, or I thought he was of the Inquisition, he has found his place by the table. Yes, excellent. But he's supposed to be, I know exactly, and she kind of just forces herself through the lines of guests there and grips you by the shoulder, Erald. We don't want any embarrassments tonight, after all, so I have the perfect table companion for you, and she puts you next to Bodeville Scoffer. Now, I know that you, men seeking truth, for the Inquisition or Shamash, however it may be, are very dedicated to your cause. But we don't want any embarrassments tonight, any secrets to come out. So you talk to Bodeville, because Bodeville is guaranteed the most boring person around here. Just ask him about numbers and he will entertain you for hours. He has no hidden depth at all. And then she walks away.
Taralese will lean over to the group of mean girls. Well, I see the night is already off to a wonderful start for no embarrassments.
Isn't it though?
After she turns around, Erald will actually get back up and go over to Malik.
Bodeville has been sat down in the chair and is like, and he's giving you a kind of dirty eye there, Erald, because you were there when his house was searched, and he's.
To which, actually, as I'm passing him and heading back towards the seat next to Malik, I'll actually say, "No, no harm done, friend. I'm not here for you."
Erald goes back to his other seat. Yes. Is this Malakai walking up to the Admiral?
Yes.
I almost thought that would be the case.
Upon arriving, Malachi will adjust his jacket so it sounds like wind chimes.
Yeah, he's kind of looking at you with definite disdain. He is shorter than you, but he's still looking down the nose.
Who laid out where the ships are currently laying at anchor. They've managed to logjam the entire docks.
He says, "You don't understand, clearly. Nah, certain goods take priority. For instance, very soon as I possibly can, we will be disembarking the Procurator's horse. It'll be a big event, you're gonna see."
I am assuming there are various accoutrements, like sugar bowls and things, spread across the table, yes?
Yep.
Mal will actually start rearranging shit, like grabbing a sugar bowl and referring it to as the Juggernaut ship that's in the harbor. This should be out here, where it can fire on enemies before enemies can actually fire on the docks. And just start, like, fast-handing a bunch of stuff, laying out where ships should be.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, but the incompetent idiot of a captain for the Galaballon managed to run his ship aground as we entered the fjord. We've been working hard on getting it off of that reef since. We'll get there soon enough.
Send a couple divers down with pickaxes. Wait till high tide. Have some tugs pull it off.
Yeah, we need to disembark some cargo first, and some of the soldiers. It's gonna lighten the ship a bit, you know. It'll work. I'm thinking of picking apart the trebuchet too, to save some extra weight. Oh, you think anyone would dare to enter this inlet now? If there's one place in the world that's safe from raiders right now, it's right here.
I sailed in unmolested and your sailors had their fucking puds in their hand.
Nah, they saw you and they saw your colors.
I flew them up well after I was in catapult range.
I'm gonna have a chat with that captain, let me tell you. I don't know.
Praanz will, oh, sorry, go ahead, Mikhail.
Rumor has it, he leans in, that captain was really just reservist who was managing the ship while the real captain was off gallivanting in Vumbra, you understand? And, but then they got a message to join the convoy, and they didn't have time to get the real captain aboard. So you understand that this puts me in a particular position.
I understand completely, and Malakai will hold up his bottle of whiskey. Let us drink to the three traditions of the Tricor Navy. Rum, sodomy, and the lash. Take a big drink and wander off.
By the gods,
Praanz will
I'll
catch
drink
him.
to that.
Praanz will catch Mal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Praanz will catch Mal as he walks away. Do you want me to yell at him about efficiency?
It's the curse of being specialist forces. Most of the sailors are farm boys or press gang drunks. Most of the Admiralty are at fucking masquerade balls.
Yep.
He will kind of cut around this bald gentleman here and draw up to the mean girls.
As you do this, the Procurator arrives. He's kind of stumbling. He has not gotten any particular costume. He's in fact dressed in a hunting outfit. Maybe that is his costume. His boots still sticky with mud from the countryside, and even has a sword and a dagger at his belt. "Oh, look at you, my dear," he says. "Oh, you're so beautiful tonight. I couldn't recognize you." She is looking angry as he comes in. "You're not even dressed properly. Go! Change so we can start with the supper." Yes, dear." And he turns and walks out again.
Well, she really is 0 for 2 on no embarrassments tonight.
Think she can make it a triple threat?
Oh, I bet we can get the whole turkey.
Maybe, says Alantha, leaning in, maybe they can make it 3 times tonight. That would get a special prize, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes. Speaking of which, and she'll kind of put a hand against Malakai's arm. Ladies, have you met the good captain? Malakai, be a gentleman.
Evening, lasses. Captain Malakai. It's a pleasure to meet you. And he does the sloppiest bow on the face of the earth.
They will do a very, very minuscule curtsy because, of course, he is a commoner after all. And certainly not Praetorian. Captain, adventures, yes? Privateer?
Aye?
Have you, boarded someone recently?
About 20 minutes ago, if you actually need to know.
See? A complete ruffian. It's so romantic.
Malakai will turn to Taralese and slow blink.
Oh,
Can I get you ladies a drink?
no, but I think they're interested in your drink.
Oh yes, they will each take Malakai under... They'll grab one arm each and drag him away towards the wine table.
How's it feel to be kidnapped for once?
We have taken ourselves a privateer, they giggle a bit.
This is going to end in drunkenness and shame. You will enjoy it.
Oh,
I
don't
think
tell
they're
me you're not going to enjoy it.
I think they're
A little.
completely shameless, that's just me.
We'll never mention on whose part the shame would be.
This is true.
So who's our mystery man there just north of Vaudeville?
Oh, that guy?
Mm-hmm.
That rook is... he... Some noble or other. He has... He's trying desperately to go for again, last year's fashion. He has a patterned jacket, pantaloons, but the jacket itself has such short sort of... what do you call it?
Lapels?
Yes, lapels, that it exposes his chest all the way down, and he has done extensive blue and green body painting, particularly on his chest area, to emphasize his anatomy in various ways, and is standing there with a hat on his head and more paint in his face. This is very Tresilvan in ways, but maybe more lower nobility than higher. And he's just been kind of standing around and showing off his chest, really.
Seeing the war paint, Mal would double take to make sure it's not one of his boys.
No, this is body paint, not war paint. Big difference.
Do you know him, and should we care?
He will be introduced as Praanz da Kaelve.
Hold on a second.
Any other information given?
Apparently, he he got into some trouble. Yes.
Oh.
Well, he was trying to rise above his station by some kind of connivance, but the target for his intrigue became aware of that and turned the table on him, so he had to make a hasty retreat to somewhere very far away, apparently here.
So, who's he thrown his hat in with?
So far he has mostly thrown in his hat with Cilicia, of course, because Cilicia is the authority here, and he will always stick by authority.
Ah, he's the boy toy.
He is trying desperately to have some of the radiance of Cilicia reflect off of him and his very shiny chest.
Are there any kind of rumors that were caught about him and Cilicia?
Well, you never know what happens behind closed doors around here, of course, particularly given how Gotthard is a complete lout and often drunk, and certainly cannot perform certain duties either by night or by day, let's say.
Praanz, how do you feel about going to meet a nice young gentleman closer to our age? Be a nice change of pace, no?
Certainly.
Taralese will redirect Praanz and approach Pranos, who's trying to show off for everyone.
Yep.
As you're approaching to see Mr. Shiny Chest, you hear the distinct rip of fabric as Mal has completely ripped open his shirt to show off more tattoos. I figure I'm giving him the tour.
Oh, Alanta and Grella will be absolutely beside themselves. Oh, look at that! Do they shine at night as well? I heard that cargo mission tattoos, that you can see them by night, like the shine and...
I'm not cargo mission. I'm from Crack.
You're from Cracks?
Aye. Now, the problem with the glowing tattoos...
barbarian.
The problem with the glowing tattoos, it makes you really easy to find at night.
But I'm kind of confused. I didn't think barbarians could speak like regular people.
We're not unintelligent. We're just unfucking cultured.
I suppose.
Assuming this conversation's far enough for Erald to actually listen in, he actually giggles underneath his breath from the table.
Yes, that conversation is not going anywhere because Malika's just sitting quietly and you're just sitting quietly, I guess. Right?
I lean into Lady Debravi. He will have them ruined by morning.
Oh, trust me, dear. There's nothing there to ruin. Besides, I'm fairly certain they both look like they're ready to be stuck by at least some kind of sword.
The Procurator comes in again, and now he has dressed in something that is, in fact, a mask, if you will. He has dressed up in a whole bunch of furs and some kind of headwear. And people around are going, "Oh, he has dressed himself like a Kvur! That's so clever!" And they're giggling a bit. He leads a little boy beside him. This boy is very obese. Cilicia immediately comes up, "Oh, my little cherub!" and starts filling her son with even more food.
I'm assuming... Oh, go ahead.
How old does he look?
9-ish, maybe?
Does he look like his daddy and his mommy?
Yep. Ish.
Outside of body shape?
Outside of body shape, yes.
Okay.
At this cue, now that both the Procurator and Cilicia is here, there is in fact servants coming in with the main dish, which is an absolutely huge fish on a large, long dish. It has been kept for a while. The ladies, Alanta and Grella are kind of leaning in. You see, Celicia had that caught just before the convoy was scheduled to arrive, right? But then it got late by 2 weeks. So let's hope we don't all get food poisoning tonight.
Malakai, upon hearing food, has moved to a table. He would try to bring both of the young ladies with them, depositing one on each knee. And when they start saying that the fish may have turned, he will start playfully figuring out which one has the most meat on them.
They will giggle as you do that. Where do you guys want to sit?
So we're not eating the fish, correct?
There are other dishes there too, yes. But mostly it's canapes and this giant fish.
Plenty of finger food.
Don't worry, I'll show you how to make it look like you're eating, but you're not.
Thank you. I prefer not to get food poisoning.
Oh, but don't you know, dear, it's all the rage.
Not when you have military missions in the morning.
Yes, but how else will you maintain your girlish figure? Believe me, it's all the rage.
There is also...
By angrily stabbing people.
There is, of course, also the main course, main staple, if you will, of Langox. This is... What's the English word for that? It's a mix between potatoes and... What is the English word for that?
Yam?
No. Artichoke. There we go.
Interesting combination.
Yeah.
I really don't know how you get potatoes and artichoke.
No,
Terrifying combination.
It's like a plant that is... It looks kind of like an artichoke. It functions like potatoes. So they use it for everything.
Cauliflower?
I was gonna say you just eat it like you'd eat artichoke and hummus, where it's like you mash the potatoes up. That's the only thing I can think.
Yeah, but they mash
Like
the
sweet
artichoke.
potatoes,
This langok is mashed, or they can... I mean, they do it in everything that you would ever do with a potato, you would do with this plant.
So they're mashed potatoes on the table.
Yes. Well, there's boiled potatoes this time. Boiled langoks. And there will also be other things, like a nice white sauce to it that is spicy enough to hide any foulness from the fish. Let's say if you use enough of the sauce, you might not. Yeah. Gut root, some cabbages, there's stuff there. All sorts of garnish, if you will, for the fish.
I'll stick to the vegetables.
That's probably a good idea. Everybody's getting a serving, of course, by the servants. You can decide where you want to sit pretty much freely.
Malakai will definitely ask Scoffer how the rest of his day was.
It was busy, he says, and looks less than pleased for obvious reasons. There we go. That's a true banquet, isn't it? Everybody eating and drinking and enjoying company and... Yep. That's what's going on. Everybody's enjoying the company. Yep. How much talk is happening between Malik and Erald?
Little to none. If anything, he's just attempting to learn his motions, if that's the easiest way I can describe it. And specifically would like to find out more of how Malik actually eats with that bone mask on.
It turns out that Malik does not eat. He is simply sitting there. He will turn towards you ever so slightly. Baru, I believe is your title?
Yes.
What brings a man of the cloth to the far north?
Well, there's many reasons to come here. Many of them simply are that we're here to share the knowledge. Creationist knowledge.
Of course. Of course.
Yes. And I figured a nice trip to the middle of nowhere was absolutely grand. Who knows what is being taught here? You know, we need to make sure that the proper teachings is being done.
Your own initiative entirely, of course.
Of course, you know, and my frail old self is, you know, difficult to get around, so I have my my dear friend lug my bags, as it were.
Yes.
And then at this point, Erald will point to his quarterstaff that's next to him here on the chair.
I fully understand. May you reach enlightenment here in the far north.
I hope to do so, and maybe get some healing along the way.
Oh, healing, you say?
That's actually why I went to visit you at the infirmary.
I see. Yes, of course. You asked about local healers. You know, as I mentioned, the druids have taken the patients for rest and recuperation at their temple. But my order does have some healers as well.
Well, if that's the case, I haven't felt well since I arrived here, so I might have to stop by your establishment.
I'm afraid that our infirmary will certainly not be enough to accommodate your needs. Perhaps I could invite you to our headquarters in the Iron Tower.
Oh. Well,
I'm sure we have much to gain from a mutual exchange of knowledge.
You see, this is exactly why I wanted to sit next to you, and at this point, Erald will actually pat Malik on the shoulder. To see if he gets a flinch off of him or any type of bodily reaction.
This is very much a you are doing a machinator thing, is it not?
Oh yes, it is.
Oh yes, it is. So why don't we check that? You are an insight. Yeah, you're using your insight thing. So are we spending your fate die? Is that what we're saying?
Yep. Let's get rid of it.
Let's get rid of it.
Wait, Josh, how important is this roll?
Not really. To be honest, no. In all honesty, he's basically just trying to see if he gets a win out of him more than anything.
Yeah.
Because as far as he's concerned, there could be literally anything underneath that. Walking monstrosity for the amount of emotional tolerance that he's currently seeing from Malik.
Yeah, you roll water plus fate die against Malik's water. So
Do I have to declare giving a fate die before the roll, or can I do it after we see result?
He cannot use more than one fate die for this because he only has the first level of Machinator, so you can give him a fate die anyway, but it's not going to affect the roll in any way.
So just to confirm, water plus an extra from the fate die?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's a terrible roll.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Have you used an experience before for any of this kind of thing?
No, I do not think I have.
Because you once lied successfully to your elder Tensids to cover family matters.
Yeah, I think that's probably convincing enough for him to literally go into a kill box at the Ivory Tower. I mean, go visit some awesome friends.
Yes, so feel free to re-roll using that experience. I will roll Malik's water.
Just randomly, when Malik mentions the Iron Tower, you would hear Malakai comment to Grella, "That doesn't sound ominous as fuck or nothing."
Now you have 2 successes, and Malik has a 6, but it doesn't matter because you have 2 successes. As you can tell, Malik is not the most sociable of persons, and this means you succeed then with your insight machinations. So I have to reveal something about the NPC's motivations or goals.
He wants to kill you. Surprise.
I was gonna say, I know Taralese is watching this, and then watching Celicia and her reaction to their conversation, if she's paying attention at all.
I'll send a message to you there, Josh. Which of course means that if you take him up on his invitation and actually go, you will definitely gain fate dice for your indulging in your bane.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, he Erald definitely replies back to Malik and says, "Yes, I'm very interested for the visit the Iron Tower, and look forward to it. Maybe we can make the journey."
When you patted him like that, you would actually feel a momentary cloud of... How do I describe this? A nauseating smell coming from this man. Like ammonia and puke rolled into one. Like rot.
Oh god, that's pleasant.
And this overpowers, obviously, the perfume that you described to me earlier that's seeming trying to mask all of this?
Yes.
Excellent.
Mikhail, what's Praanz's rank again?
Yeah. Malik is just kind of bowing his head, seemingly very content. He seems to believe that he has you hooked now. Like, laughing behind his mask, but he's not actually laughing.
Yep, that's fine.
Sorry, I keep getting confused as to whether I'm a general or a colonel.
You're a colonel.
I'm a colonel.
Yep.
Since Praanz is setting across, Malakai will engage. Colonel, it's a very pleasant dress. Nice to see you again this evening.
Thank you. I borrowed it from the kind lady de Bravi. I was not equipped for a masquerade ball.
This is a fucking masquerade ball.
Apparently.
Nobody told me.
You fit in just fine. I wouldn't worry about it.
They seem to like me. Then he would kind of tickle both of the girls.
You, Taralese, are sitting next to Ninhalaska, who sort of leans over. I have heard the most interesting thing.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What you've heard now?
Looks over, the eyes are kind of sweeping over towards Praanz. I've heard that Praanz has been to Arhem before. Apparently had a tryst with a local. And
Really?
it appears that Praanz might have an interesting heritage.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of heritage?
Oh, he is not entirely human, let's just say. She is, legend has it, there is a big spot somewhere on the back. Skek spot.
Really? So the walls have ears. Do you know anything about him and Cilicia?
The Procurator?
Not Procurator necessarily, but
Oh, Praanz?
well, I suppose he could be playing both fields.
I would think so.
I couldn't blame him. He certainly has the back and chest for it.
Indeed. Is it true that Praanz is Digeta Longa?
Whatever gave that away, darling?
I've been stuck in a room with accounting sheets.
Yes, well, between you and me, yes. But I'm not so certain that the weapons cache is her real objective. She's being a little too blatant with it. She's either very clever or very stupid. I haven't decided which.
I did manage to get out of my chamber once or twice. And I heard from some locals that the brains behind the whole affair, the druids.
Behind the... Really?
Think
What
about
interest do they have in it?
They're religious leaders. If they start calling the locals to arms, surely they will rise.
Taralese is going to look at Guelman, because the druids are associated with the mountain folk, right?
You don't know yet.
Okay.
Guelman is just eating his fish. Anyone else eating the fish?
No.
Erald will.
Cilicia is insisting on eating the fish because it's been lying there for long enough. She's gonna eat it damn enough.
I didn't realize Erald was from a Pentient order.
They might be worshipping Olgeric before the night is over. No, you never know.
So I guess kind of going back a little bit, was anyone else paying attention to that conversation after the silence was finally broken by the two holy men staring at each other?
I think you're a little bit too far away to catch what Erald and Malik are talking about.
No. She's looking to see if anyone else is.
Now, Baudeville seems
was paying
completely,
attention to them.
Why don't you roll your water here to sort, because this is definitely you trying to take in all the intrigues, right? Which is exactly what you're best at, in fact.
I unfortunately cannot see my water. What is it? 2?
Yeah, I have to fix this. 2, yes. Or why don't you roll your wind, in fact, and roll for 3 dice, because this is something you're good at.
All right.
Taralese is a smarty pants. Success at cost. What is the cost here?
She's probably too busy paying attention to it when she goes to take one of her fake bites.
Mm-hmm.
She accidentally does eat a little bit of the fish.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I guess the fish will give her a point of damage, and then she will feel better tomorrow. Or possibly a point of exhaustion, as you see fit. Anyway, you will look around. The different networks of people who are plotting and planning and intriguing with each other There is obviously tension between the Procurator and his wife. The thorniness from these two is intense. Travinder, much like all of you all, is pretending to eat and doing it quite well. Also pretending to drink. Tol. There we go. Tol. He's the guy who takes up the tolls, and his name is Tol. So Tol. He is in fact eating of the fish, paying a lot of attention to the Procurator in Silesia, being very deferent to them. Clearly a hopped-up commoner who is in the company of his betters and is working really hard to satisfy them. Pranos is trying to make conversation with Ninhalaska every once in a while. She is savvy enough to wriggle herself out of it because he is literally just talking about fashion. He has to ask about the latest body painting styles. Is this the right pattern for the season, or do I need to do? Maybe I needed more gold. Did I need more gold? Or should it have been silver this year? I never know. Guelman seems to care about nobody else. He's only here to represent his people because the Procurator and Silesia are powerful, and then he will go back to his people, probably. As for Bodeville, he is a smoldering fire of anger, and that anger is directed to Praanz at a very, very, very continuous and constant level of hatred at this point. He's probably making calculations about how much money he lost due to that raid and the work hours that he has to put in to fix everything that Praanz messed up in the first place.
Praanz looks like she doesn't give a fuck.
The two ladies in question are absolutely enraptured by Malakai and indulging in their fantasy of being swept off their feet by a cannibal pirate.
Glad I could play the role.
While not at all taking that line to its realistic endpoint. It's
Nice young.
deeply in a romance.
You're their Johnny Depp.
Yes.
Nice
you
young.
are.
They're in the Bodice Ripper novels. They have longed to be.
Yes,
Yes.
they are.
Tara Lisa would have noticed, considering he commented on part of it, that Malakai was actually paying attention to the interplay between the holy men.
To the point, actually, when he did the pat on the back for Malik and everything, he very much vocalized sufficiently of, yeah, sure, I'll join you at the Iron Tower, that it could have been maybe heard across the table.
Ah, okay. Yeah, if you made that point, then definitely that was heard across the table.
Yeah, it's
Malakai-
definitely something Praanz would have kept an eye on as well,
Yeah.
seeing as, she's spoken with the holy man and would like to keep him alive long enough to serve his purpose.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
What about the Admiral?
The Admiral. Ah, yes. He's sitting right next to you. He will make polite small talk with the good lady, Taralese. He's asking about news from your part of the country. Now, he is also just arrived from Paratorna, and sometimes, his questions are more like probing into your affiliations, let's say. Like, why are you here? Who are you affiliated with? He must be aware that this is definitely the game of shadows, and as such, who is pulling your strings, right? That's the kind of
Oh, darling, we all know. It's because I pulled on the wrong strings that I'm here. Don't you know that's the fashion around here for us nobles?
That is indeed the fashion, my lady. Of course, I am here. This is a glorious opportunity, you understand. Escorting the convoy, having command over the same. I can expect possibly a promotion on coming back. I'm very sorry to hear that this is not the case for you, but I understand fully. This is a place where people recuperate their health, yes?
Oh, yes. Just like I've heard that's what they do for you. I mean, being put on such a special assignment like this with a specialized group, escorting nobles to the middle of nowhere. It's wonderfully glorious.
Oh, you misunderstand me, my lady. I'm not here to escort nobles to the middle of nowhere. If we happen to have to bring some passengers out here when our hulls are empty of precious cargo, we can do so, certainly. We should not spill the cargo space, after all. No, I am here to pick up the valuable sulfur and escort it back to the coffers of His Majesty the Emperor, so that Kastika might smile upon the Empire again.
At least when your captains know left from right. Or is it port from starboard?
Yes. Looks a bit grumpy again. Isn't it lively to be at a banquet with Paratornians? Nest of vipers. Is that what we call this episode? A nest of vipers?
I don't know. Taralese is having fun.
I'm sure.
Malakai's having a ball.
Yeah, people are starting to wrap up their food, and you know they've had a meal. Some of them more than others. Boudeville was eating mostly because the fish, mostly because Silesia kept staring at him. Silesia will look at Malakai. You are a man of the sea. Surely you will appreciate this fish. We have found this off this coast, and it's a delicacy, let me tell you. It cannot be found in any other waters, so the locals tell me.
Due to religious convictions, unfortunately, I am not allowed to eat the fish of the sea. We are kindred spirits, you see.
But how do you ever eat on a ship if you can't eat the fish?
Malakai smiles.
She looks genuinely baffled. How very eccentric.
Is anybody smoking? Are people lighting pipes now that you're at post-dinner?
The pipes will come up.
Malakai will produce a clay pipe, producing some very perfumed, very dark smoke that's probably a combination of some narcotic and some hallucinogenic, and will offer it to his dinner dates.
They will certainly take their fair share.
He would, and since Praanz is there, he doesn't know about this scoffer dude, but he would offer to Praanz.
I appreciate the offer, but I think I'll stay sober tonight.
Speaking of sober and sobriety, Travinder will be walking around the table, light on foot as before, and slowly sort of march up to lean both hands on the table right in front of you, Erald and Malik. Having an interesting conversation.
Too much of the chalice this evening?
Not at all. I'm just getting started.
I give Malakai a little poke as he walks by. Keep an eye on that one. He's not as drunk as he looks.
Malakai lean back, considering.
You see,
Exhale a long plume of smoke.
He's kind of bending over there. You should take care if you go to the Iron Tower, lest they hang you up on a hook among the other bodies. You see, I'm Transmuran, and we know what the Shagalites did in Transmura, you see. Aye. Animals and people on the slabs of tables and split open in the name of science, you understand?
Malakai would lean into Salisa and very politely offer, "Would you like for me to escort the drunk one out?"
Celicia at this point is deep in a conversation with Alanta, and whatever for? He is so wonderfully insolent. Malakai has clearly forgotten that he is among Paratornians, where insults is the highest form of flattery.
Erald will look at Travinder and say, my dear new friend here, Malik, would not do such things to animals and people. Would you, Malik? And I
Of course not, says Malik. The young man speaks of an incident that occurred, more than an age of man ago. And those evil rumors were fueled by the Guild of Medici in Vumbra. They were jealous of our knowledge of the human body and wanted us gone, so they fired up a riotous mob. Laughs Travinder. Gustal Silverhammer has a son by the name of Fingolf. And for some reason, he joined our masked friends sect. I'm here to get him back, you see. Says Malik. Fingolf. He is one of our most devoted disciples. But now he calls himself Jomoref. Now that he is an illuminated man.
But you do stick a candle up his arse.
What was that name he said that he's known as?
Jomoref. I can even put it in the chat if you want to see how it's spelled.
No, darling, they have worse forms of torture.
Well.
We shouldn't talk about torture. I don't want to scare the poor lasses.
A small memento, he says, and he leans over. I really have to get going. And he kind of just puts his hand in front of Malik, and then he waggles away and sort of does a stumbling type of a bow before he wiggles out and away from the party.
Praanz watches him very closely.
Erald, you can see what is
table.
lying in front of Malik.
Yeah.
It is a small clay frog with 3 stripes across it. Malik just puts his hand over it and puts it in his pocket, if you will. Would Erald know what that symbol means, I wonder? You do have a rank of Machinator, I guess. Feel free to roll your wind, Erald, which unfortunately is not terribly strong.
There's still a chance.
This is a bit of a lore check, if you will. Okay.
Oompa!
In fact, that's kind of what I needed for you to succeed with that one.
Praanz will lean into Malakai after this whole exchange. And I don't like that one. He makes my spidey senses tingle, and it's not a nice feeling.
Temporary problem.
True. Just need to find a dark enough alley.
Invite him to come by and turn a boat.
Okay.
Well,
At
he
this
was
point-
certainly far too far into his cups, says Malik.
It seems that way, and Erald will actually look down towards the pocket that he put the frog in.
Yep, it's just gone there. Somewhere in his robes.
Praanz mutters something about he can't get far enough into his cups.
Silesian, the Procurator, will declare that supper is actually completed now and it's time for a dance. And the two will, in fact, start with dancing as Mosca is doing his level best to play a happy tune together with the two other musicians. They are not impressive dancers, but they're kind of trying. Alanta and Garella will start fighting each other for who gets to dance with Malakai first.
Malakai will look at Praanz. This is what passes for dancing here. Everybody's
Apparently.
still dressed and no one's on the fucking tables.
Yet.
Look at this, it's so quaint habits, isn't it? We really have to go to Crux at some point. That's a terrible idea, you get eaten.
They seem to have been taken with the culture. Malakai could not get in the way of such a cultural exchange, and he needs to make sure the people back home are still eating.
If they ever want to go to Crux, you will be happy to escort them there and then eat at the banquet, I guess?
Let's see how the rest of the night plays out.
Indeed.
I might become fond of them.
And the Admiral will, in fact, invite Lady Taralese to a dance.
She will accept.
He's not a bad dancer.
Malakai will actually drag both of the girls up and begin wildly cavorting with everyone.
Of course, yeah, they are absolutely fine with wildly cohorting. In fact, they will compete in whom of them can attract most of your attention to their bosoms.
There's a thighs joke there somewhere, but I'm not gonna go searching for it.
I think you mean motorboating.
Ah!
So tell me, Admiral, what do you think of him? The drunkard that just left.
Just another noble. Hapless. I hear he's from Transmira. Completely behind the times, of course. But, you know, they try to suck up to us betters and improve themselves. You have to give them that. Their attempt at improving themselves is endearing in a way.
I suppose it is, at least when they actually clean up and make an attempt.
I don't know if you've ever been stationed on Transmira, but the metal music they play is horrendous to the ears. So every time one of the locals get a bit of real civilization and absorb it and get a bit elevated over the other low lives there, it's a win for us.
Is it though? It feels like a net loss.
It's one less idiot banging on a pan.
I suppose there is that. At least it's easier on our ears.
Yes, also, the fire hazard goes down a bit, which is nice.
So how long will you be here exactly? Especially with that whole slave revolt that's going on right now, the sulfur mines.
Slave revolt? I heard nothing about a slave revolt.
Oh, really? Interesting.
There was some trouble at the camp, was there? Was there a full revolt?
Not quite, but a bad batch of zombieing, it seems.
Oh, I'm sure they'll have it sorted in a moment. As long as I get my sulfur in my hulls, I'm pleased. Yeah, that's how long we stay. We disembark all the cargo, we fill up, we repair any repairs that are needed, we fill up the holds with sulfur, we sail. Should be a couple of weeks or so. Want to beat the sea serpent mating season.
So what will you do if it takes too long?
Bring out the whips.
Interesting. Do you feel like we have enough soldiers here to be able to do that?
No, I'm sure they have. And we have, with the Galbalon, we'll be able to triple their strength here. Not a problem at all.
And they answer to you?
The Galbalon sailors, of course. This entire convoy answers to me.
And what about the sailors you were transporting?
And what about them?
Are they also under you? I would not think the soldiers would be. Sailors, certainly. Soldiers?
No, all of them. Yes, that's how a navy works, my lady.
Interesting.
In other words, if Malakai wants to get rid of the Admiral, he now knows who to put the knife into.
Malakai's paying attention. Anytime the Admiral opens his mouth, Malakai's paying attention. Hey, Jess, what's Praanz doing right now? Is Praanz sticking in the mud?
Sitting and watching. I can't remember, is Colonel above Admiral, or is it the other way around?
Two completely different things.
Okay.
Soldiers, sailors, and Marines.
Okay.
But you're special forces, so you could probably swing your dick around a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
I do have some cards I can play later.
But as you're sitting there, you would hear a loud whistle and then hear, in a very specific accent, the word "Colonel! Catch!" called out.
Praanz just puts her hand up.
To which Malakai's jacket goes flying across the room.
Praanz just puts her hand up to catch the jacket. Or whatever it is that Malakai is throwing.
Nin Halaska is moving towards the dancing floor, inviting Toltola towards to it, as it were. But as she does, she kind of also takes a slight stumble just to get the head close enough to Praanz and whisper, "We need to talk." And
Praanz
then go
will
on the floor with Toltola.
Praanz will stand up and excuse herself to find a washroom.
Nin will probably follow after a little while. Not too obviously.
Just gonna take Malakai's jacket with me.
Hey, that thing's got more medals on it than the rest of the Admiralty combined.
That's why she's taking it with her. She's not stupid enough to leave it there by itself.
In kind of the wandering dance tradition, Malakai will move through. He will briefly dance with anyone he comes in contact to, dragging the girls with him, having them dance with people, until we arrive over here.
Yeah, it will be an absolute chaos on the dance floor, which is probably exactly what he had in mind.
Yes.
Sin, is Lady Taralese gonna make use of the influence thing at some point?
Yes. I think she wants to know more about the Admiral. What exactly is his known position here? Like, amongst the common folk? Like, obviously there's his title that he has, but how do others view him? Because it's interesting that they're his soldiers, but he didn't know that they had been rallied.
No, I mean, the soldiers in the slave camp are not under his command, of course. He just has the convoy.
Sure, but there's the ones that had been being gathered here at the garrison, that Praanz commandeered.
Yeah, they're all under the Procurator. They're not under the Admiral, so... Yeah,
Okay, that's what she had been asking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
Those
he's...
soldiers.
Okay, fair enough. That was my misunderstanding then. Yeah.
Okay, because what I was getting was that they're all under him. Like,
no,
they're
he's
all
boasting about the
Marines.
convoy and the Marines aboard the ships, basically. I mean, the ship can carry soldiers who can be used, like, he can have... A Galbalon can carry a full centuria, several centurias, like a full... what's the unit name? Sorry. They are naming their army units according to the Roman style in the real world. So that's
Century.
the influence here. Yes. More than a century. Yeah, they could probably squeeze in a full cohort on a Galbalon,
Wow.
which is about 500 men. The question is if they actually have that or not, because they were scrambled, so it's entirely possible that they didn't get a full contingent. They just have the sailors. But that's still a lot of sailors. Like, this town is usually 300 Marjurans and 300 Tracorian soldiers and some extra, slave guards in the camp and some extra bureaucrats up in the garrison, some nobles, some Praetorian nobles who are absolutely idle and bored out of their minds. That's the whole population of the area. And then comes the Sulphur convoy with, what was it, how many caravels and carracks and everything. You have probably quintupled the number of people in this area just with the convoy. One caravel can hold as many as the all Marjurans living in this village. So yeah, it's mayhem here now. It feels like you're in a Tresilvan marketplace almost. That's how many people are milling about here and doing things. And of course it's exciting for the locals. There are a lot of people coming in from villages far away from Arhem to trade with the Paratornians as they are here. And do some good business. The locals are so yeah. The population of Arhem has definitely swollen considerably over these couple of days, and will remain so until the convoy leaves.
Right. Tourist city that's had a cruise ship come into town.
Yep, that's about it. We know everything about that here in St. John.
Yes, we do. It's more like 3 cruise ships.
Yeah, they're coming again. Anyhow, Nin Halaska and Praanz, you have left the area, is that what we're saying? And gone to the outhouses, as it were?
Something like that.
Yeah, Nin will intercept you there. Colonel.
Yes.
I first time I had a chance to speak to you, I had no idea they were sending you as well. We are colleagues?
Excellent.
My cover, why did they send you? Why are you here?
Apparently there's a mess that needs to be cleaned up.
But it doesn't make any sense. I was already on this mission. Is it to distract from me?
Possibly. There's something within that shipment that they want back.
I saw something interesting about the letter that we received, that the Procurator received. It came from Bodeville Scoffer. I don't know if Bodeville even knows what was in the letter. He was delivering it. But it's signed by someone called Molbrook. Now, I think I recognize the handwriting, though.
Whose handwriting does it look like?
I think it is Duke Jalsop the Kamestis.
That explains why they want it back.
Why does the Duke know about the arms shipment to rebels on Marjura?
I'm not sure yet.
Is the Duke working with them?
That is one possibility.
At any rate, you haven't found the weapons, have you?
Not yet, but I have an idea of where they might be.
Very well.
I have some people going to look for them soon, hopefully. But I just need to catch up with them.
Of course. We shouldn't be seen together too much.
No, of course not.
And she walks away. I'm gonna give Sin a piece of info, because you asked for a piece of key information without Machinator stuff. This is your influence doing. The seamstress, who has been working really hard on delivering clothes and everything. She is in fact coming in for some equipment repair, because apparently someone tore a little bit of their dress in the violent dancing with Malakai. So the seamstress is here to do some repairs. And she drops you a note, Lady Taralese, and I will put that note in your Zoom chat. Some people have a chance to enter all sorts of places unseen because, you know, servants can't see anything, right?
Of course. They just blend into the background.
Yes. So, continues the night. Malik will excuse himself. Yeah, okay, go ahead, Rook.
At this point in the evening, now that me and my two lady friends have danced our way over to this side, the young birds will be dispatched to see to the Admiral while Malakai cuts in for a dance with Taralese.
Very well.
Upon beginning their prance around, Malakai will lean in and begin to speak. I cut a deal with the Moggers. They run the banking here. I'm having a set of books cooked.
Oh, really? Have you told poor Scoffer over there? I'm sure he'd be delighted to hear that.
Oh, the book. I was going to ask him about the clear line of animal husbandry in his family, but if you think he'd rather hear about that...
No, I think we need to play nice for now. We need to get on his good side.
I'm producing the book. I'll give you the book. I just figured it'd be useful.
How'd you know it's my birthday soon?
other members of your family keep a bit more in touch than you do.
Yes. Well, hopefully she hasn't gotten herself killed yet.
Last I heard, she had visited the kids at school, bringing them small gifts. Sounds good to me.
Yes, there is that small miracle. Regardless, so the Moggers believe that they're in control of the banking. Or is that the implication that you got from them?
I believe they wield a certain amount of power in Lowtown. They are familiar enough with Scoffer's banking practices that they can cook up a set of effective books.
Certainly give it to me as soon as you can. I think I may have someone who could help us make sure it's fully legitimate.
This is about the length of time when people would realize that shit was being whispered back and forth. So it is this moment that Malakai and his shirtless and jacketless self spins off to reclaim Grella and Elanta.
Indeed. They are, like, Malakai, losing more and more of their clothes. Since Grella now is with the Admiral, Alanta takes the opportunity to occupy Malakai all for herself. In fact, she will start dragging him away towards one of the doors for extra frolicking with sugar on top.
Come on, Lassie, don't be a prude. Let's just do it on the fucking table.
I mean, she is part.
What do you want me to roll? What do you want me to roll?
She is Paratornon after all, but it is not the season of the Freedom Games. A water roll would be required for that.
I suck at water.
You got them, Rook. Just use the fate dice.
Yes.
He doesn't have
Safe
any
to
fate dice for
assume
that.
Praanz walks back in?
Yep.
Okay.
What were you saying about me using fate dice? I can't use any because I don't have seduce as a skill.
That's correct.
I haven't charmed them into a fate dice.
Nah. You don't. That's not where your abilities lie. Nah.
That didn't work.
She will roll hers, of course, because that is where her abilities lie. She is so alluring that
Out the door it is.
Yep, out the door it is.
But it's going to be right beside the door.
Yeah, that's fine.
In case a fight breaks out.
In case a fight breaks out. Malik will excuse himself at this point, and when would you want transport towards the Iron Tower, Baru?
We'll come by the infirmary here within the next day or so, Malik, if that's possible.
Of course.
We can figure out arrangements from there.
It will be a pleasure. I will do my utmost to speed you on your way.
And Erald will simply bow and see Malik off.
Yep. Guelmin is also leaving. This is the time of the party when everything is kind of simmering down and, yeah. Like, anyone who wants to get out of there is finding an excuse to get out of there, which includes Baudeville Scoffer, of course, because he doesn't like any of the company right now. He has business to attend to. He's standing up very sort of curtly. I have business to attend to. That condescending, you are so frivolous and not working all the time. How are you supposed to earn any money at all? I have business to attend to in the name of Castique, and just away.
We
Erald
didn't
will
even get to see the horse.
This is true. The horse has not disembarked from the ships yet.
Well,
Erald will actually go ahead and look towards over to Praanz and offer an adjacent seat.
Hmm.
And we'll sit. Good evening.
Evening, officer. At that point, Erald will actually lean in, and Jessica, I will send you a message. Mikhail, it's what you sent me.
Okay.
Praanz da Privavi comes over. Colonel. I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting a colonel. Haven't I seen you in the Toronda at some point? Fencing, yes? I believe
Yes.
you have earned me several sweet golden trakeens, and we thank thee. Now, here's the question. Why are you here and not in the Toronda where you belong? Such a waste of talent, really, hmm?
Because my first and foremost duty is a woman of military.
Of course, we are all bound by duty, are we not? Yes. Orders, then, eh?
Yes, something to that effect.
So
What can I do for you?
Absolutely nothing, he says. He is also kind of drunk at this point.
Then is there a point to this conversation, dear?
None. I just wanted to be able to say that I've had a word with the legendary Colonel Praanz da Kaelve herself, who has always been impressing everyone in the Toronto. I can now say that I have met her in person, and
Yes.
that will impress everyone else. Well, except not here, because everyone here has also met her. I will simply have to wait until I get back home.
Well, I hope it's an impressive story for you.
Yes. It will be. I'll make it so. Maybe I'll tell a story about how I fought a duel against Colonel Praanz. Yes, yes. I don't even have a blade. Waggles
Dear,
away.
She definitely gives off that air of, yeah, I have way more important things to do than talk to you right now.
Which is probably because you have way more important things to do than talk to him like right now.
So yes, Colonel. That frog that Malik was given,
Yes.
it's actually the sign of the Ravdorana.
Should I know that name? This is Jess asking, not Praanz.
It's one of the
You
most
should.
notorious sects of hired assassins within the Empire.
Yeah, Praanz will know.
Okay. Interesting.
He's got a mark. And getting back to Joe Moref, that's probably why.
Probably.
So, as we may have some commonality dealing with this dear.
Yeah, because that drunk's not a drunk.
No.
He's very, very good at looking drunk, but that's a fighting style that he has. He's mastered, that lets him mask himself.
Ooh, another interesting thing. I don't know if you can still smell it, but Malik has such high perfume that even that of Taralese would put to shame.
Yeah,
I
there's
can't
a
smell-
cloud wherever Malik goes.
I'm not sure I can smell anything more over Malakai's coat.
Ain't nothing wrong with my coat.
Well, with Malakai's coat, the true stench that lies underneath was enough to make this fish turn sour.
More
you-
sour? That's impressive.
Yes.
Did you happen to recognize the smell?
Easiest way I can describe it. Death.
Oh, that is a smell I know well.
Yeah.
A type of magic, maybe? That taints him? Or a rot disease?
I'm assuming the latter. That is why he holds his visage and his whole body under cloak and dagger.
Interesting.
And yes, I will not be going to the Iron Tower. But under my breath to her.
I assumed you weren't that stupid, but one never knows. I mean, you don't get to be in your position by being stupid.
You could, or you're just very lucky.
You're very, very lucky.
Seems this infirmary, I think, needs a further investigation.
I agree. I also have a suspicion that his cult may have eaten some of my men.
Suspicion is enough to go on for me. You have my backing.
Thank you.
Torquemada.
Sorry, when they start eating my men, it's personal.
I mean, that's a point, right?
But yes, formalities aside, at this point, Erald will stand up and say, then look towards the dance floor.
Oh, certainly.
And Erald will awkwardly make his way over and attempt to dance the best way he can with his awkward quarterstaff and lady in tow.
Wait, a priest of Shamashi is dancing?
Sacrilege!
At this point, I'll actually like pull the robe and stuff.
With a colonel of the Secret Service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
It turns out that he wasn't. I mean, it's kind of ironic to have someone masquerade as a priest of Shamash who honors the god of truth and for whom illusion and masking is sacrilege. That is. I mean,
Wasn't lost on Erald at all.
that is.
He's fitting right in.
That is a very Paratornon way of doing, giving the entire Holy Kishat the finger in the most subtle way. Very appreciated by everyone here, by all the Paratornons here, I would think.
Praanz is probably graceful enough to make up for your awkward gait.
Probably, yes.
She is a swords person after all.
Mm-hmm.
No, stop. Wait, I'm leading. No, I'm leading. Follow my lead.
You will notice that Erald is, in fact, surprisingly agile, perhaps.
Yeah, probably would actually. And
Actually doesn't
surprisingly so.
surprise her. Mostly because Praanz doesn't take anything at face value.
Mm.
So she would assume that the, decrepit old man was an act.
Mhm.
Again, given your station.
Don't know what you're talking about.
No, not at all.
I'm gonna give you, Erald, I'm gonna give you one fate die for destiny from the chalice, because you have in fact taken steps towards investigating Malik this night. And your destiny is to further rid anti-creationists of this land, or to further rid this land of anti-creationists. So,
Excellent.
Hey, Jess.
Yeah.
If Praanz is really good at reading fighting styles, you would see a very specific, very recognizable swagger in the way Malakai carries himself.
Okay.
I will also give Praanz a fate die for Bane, given the gossiping that went on earlier this night.
Yes. And just to further Lady de Bravi's gossip, when she was dressing, she did make pains to cover up spots like her lower back.
Oh,
Yeah, that's actually-
really?
Now that she's thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna give you another one for that too, because it's absolutely true. That means it's come up twice this evening.
Because you would have noticed, because I was dressing in your room.
Yeah, this is a good point.
Because I got thinking about that after it got mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Does that mean that the banquet is in fact slowly but surely winding down? People are going to various places. Malakai, of course, indulges in hedonism.
Speaking of which, booze, drugs, women. Did I hit my bane?
Will you say that Malakai is incapacitated for the rest of the evening because of this? Then yes.
He's going back to the ship before he goes unconscious. Yes.
Right. Then yes. Because that means that if anything of consequence happens this evening or night, he would not be able to intervene in any way, shape, or form, because he's just basically he's overindulged, let's say. So I'll give you one for that.
As he leaves, I give a side whisper to one of his men. Please make sure he doesn't choke on his own vomit.
Yeah.
But tell everyone he has one of the nobles.
Both of the nobles.
Hold up. Does she walk of shame back in, or does she go with Mal?
Nah, she goes the walk of shame back in. She's not gonna go on a ship. That would be weird.
Okay, I am taking Malakai out of rotation for the rest of the evening. I think I did what I needed to do.
Quite so. I don't see how Taralese might have... She hasn't insulted anyone enough to activate her Bane yet, I don't think. But I'm sure she will get opportunities in the future.
Were you watching
She
the
hasn't
same
insulted
RP
anyone
as
enough?
us? Were you watching the same RP as us?
No, she's insulting people the way a Paratorian should be. Right now, she's following a Paratorian etiquette.
See, her problem is she hasn't met anyone who can keep up with her yet.
Yeah, but it's also about the way I read your Bane. Taking over control from others, even when she shouldn't. Like...
Not necessarily. It's not about her taking over others' control. It's more about arrogance.
Fair enough. So she has this overconfidence that she will never make a mistake, and then she will make a mistake.
Correct.
Yeah. So when that happens, I'm gonna throw a bunch of Bane dice at you, fate dice at you. But so far it hasn't. But it's gonna. I know it's gonna. Varies from session to session. This kind of stuff.
Yes, it's one of those. She knows she's smart. She knows she's probably the smartest person in the room. It's just a matter of confirming it or not.
Yeah, and so far she's been in her element. Like, she's been on a ship where she could do a bunch of intriguing stuff. And now she's been on a banquet where she's been in her element completely. It would be interesting to see her out of her element and still maintaining that level of confidence. We'll get there, sooner or later, I'm sure.
Oh, you underestimate a Paratoran and their arrogance.
Indeed. Where is everyone going after the banquet? We won't know what Malakai is doing. He is on his ship. Erald? And, I mean, the rest of the three of you have sleeping quarters here in the garrison. You don't have to walk far.
Erald will actually go meet up with Balan.
Yeah, well, he's in the garrison because that's
where you left him.
Yep.
That's
Sitting
where I
there
left him,
like a
sitting
poor
there.
puppy.
you wear your white robes and he wears his red tunic befitting the fire tongues.
Yep, and I will give Balan the update of where we need to go next.
And where is
And,
that, sir?
Malik must be removed.
Removed?
This is me calling out directly your role here as a fire tongue.
You have declared him anti-creationist?
Yes.
Very well. He pulls out his blade, gives it a good work over with a stone. Right away then, sir?
Interestingly enough, there's another that also wants to remove him.
Is there?
A group of assassins here. The Rabdorana. Specifically, the gentleman here on the island is... Josh is awful with names.
Prevender.
Huh.
I think it's warrant for us to have a meeting with him prior to going to meet with Malik.
He's the noble that was in our ship.
Yep. He may appear as a noble, but he is a hired assassin.
Right.
I don't think Malik will simply go down as easy as we think. It's best to have multiple hands in the pot.
That it is. I just realized that I should use the proper accent for Ballad, because he's not Paratorno. Sorry. His accent should be more German, really, because he's from the continent. I'll remember that next time. Anyway, so you are actually gonna... So I'll switch over to the Arhem map then. There we go. Are you guys going down then towards town? Towards
I think if anything, I would let him know what's going on, and then in the morning, try and meet up.
Fair enough.
Yep. Rather than try and do it this evening, it's pretty obvious, based on Erald's not stupid. If someone basically dropped off the the black hand or the red rose and said, "I know who you are and I'm going to kill you," he's probably expecting to be assassinated this evening. So if they do the job for him, then
All
that's
the
fine.
better. Yeah. I will advance the clock then. Everybody else is asleep. Praanz, are you taking... Because it's been a long day, right?
Yeah, she goes back to her room, changes, delivers the clothing back to Lady de Bravi and to Malakai's ship, and then she goes back to her room and goes over her evidence and does her detective military thing.
Just goes over various evidence pieces.
Yeah.
Why don't we... Why don't we roll a wind roll for you?
Sure. What is my wind? Because it's covered.
It's a 1.
Okay. Do I get anything to add to that?
I'll give you an extra die because you actually have a copy of Bodeville Scoffer's letter and a copy of that order that... Well, look at that. Haha. That order that came from Duke Yalsop da Kamesti that ordered you to bring... You remember those rejoicers that were on your ship? Remember that?
Yeah, I have copies of handwriting.
Yes, and you can compare the two. And indeed, it is the same. Duke Yalsop da Kamesti wrote the note and called himself Molbrock on that letter that he sent to Bodeville Scoffer.
Huh. And just to confirm, he's who I remember him being. He's who I think he is.
Duke Yalsop da Kamesti is, also for the audience, the richest man in Tracoria, founder of the Order of the New Sphere, which is in fact the very sacred order dedicated to Castique, to which both the Queen of Salt and... What was the other? Salt
Spray.
and Spray, and Goba da Grummi herself belongs. They work together, all these three.
So
He's starting to
why-
feel like we got cut out of the loop.
Yeah,
it's like
a little
your
bit.
minions.
Exactly.
So, in the morning,
And because you have found this plot point, I will in fact also give you a fate die for that.
I will,
Wait, we're not in the morning yet.
okay.
You're way too fast. But you are doing that investigative work. What is Lady Taralese doing? She's feeling a bit queasy now because of that fish that slipped down.
Yeah, she's probably having a lie down, but she's also going to be talking with Nin about that night and her feelings on it and that scene that the drunkard made, since she didn't get a chance to ask her about it.
Oh, Nin has absolutely no opinion about the drunkard, except he was way too much into his cups. Your reading of Nin... why don't you roll 2 water dice and I'll roll for Nin. I can even spend one of my fate dice for that, so I have 3d6 as well.
How
You
much?
had 2 successes. She has 1 success for you.
Yay.
Nin is hiding something, but you will also notice that she is target fixated. She missed the whole Travinder thing because she was busy looking into other things. You're not entirely sure what things, but there is a definite level of target fixation here.
With that, as she seems nervous, Taralese would like to try and probe at her surface thoughts.
Is this a Machinator roll now?
This is mentalism.
Ooh. Oh, that's interesting. So that would be roll wind, which is 3 dice, plus 1 fate die that you have to spend for the magic. And just reading surface thoughts, is that what you want to do?
Good question.
Yeah.
Do I have to be physically present to give somebody I have a relationship with the fate dice?
No.
I would like to give a fate dice.
Very
Okay.
well.
Yeah, she's kind of probing to see where her mind turns as she starts asking about the night. Trying to see where her first thought is, I don't want to talk about this.
You're trying to read someone's mind. She is in arm's length distance. I will roll her wind, of course. And you're not digging very deep, so she doesn't get any bonus dice. Very well. Let's have a look. Where did I put it in here? How did you roll? No, you can't roll 5d6. You don't get an extra. You can't spend more than you have in the mentalist level. So 4d6 for that. And where is... That's 3 successes. Lovely. I don't think Nin can match that. Where did I... she has... Yeah, she can't match that. 3 successes. She has 2d6. So, yeah, you win. She has 2 successes, but what does that help when you have 3? Now, 2 interesting things here. First of all, you are doing anti-creationist magic, and you rolled a 1 on your fate die. That's not so good. That is, in fact, a magic backlash. And you also have a mishap because you didn't roll a single 6. So both of those things happen. You can decide for yourself which of these effects will happen here. If you want, I'm going to put it in the chat here for everyone to see. So, something like that. Like, maybe the spell backfires and affects you instead of the target, or maybe it gives you exhaustion. It's just that much draining on you this late in the evening, so maybe you get a point of exhaustion for using this spell. That could work. And you have a backlash. Ooh. Nin will understand what you are doing. And you will gain, because you rolled that 1, you will become infamous as a terrifying and despicable sorcerer and gain 1 point of reputation. It's either because Nin understands what you're doing, or because a certain Inquisitor feels what you're doing.
Does he know it's me?
Apparently. People will start casting eyes toward... That's the point of the mishap, right? You will have a point of reputation now. That is what happens with that. You could spend a second fate die to hide your magic, but the mishap still happens. And the second fate die doesn't go to the actual roll. It's just there to make sure that nobody notices your casting.
I'll do that.
Right? And that was the one that Malakai gave you. So basically you're making a weave that is hidden from view. You're inverting the flows of the ether so that spellcasters can't immediately sense it. Which means that there is now some ether flowing around here that Erald and Mereld will actually miss. But I think Nin will realize what you did because of how you stare at her, maybe? How does she realize that what you're doing here? Because somehow she does it.
I'm guessing she probably feels a little bit of a pressure. Just like a headache suddenly developing, a migraine.
And maybe she doesn't realize what you did, but she realized that you did something. Are you taking a point of exhaustion for the thing?
Yeah, I think I'll take the point of exhaustion.
That sounds good. So now you have 2. 1 for the fish and 1 for the magic. You will hear her thoughts as you send elements of flows of the element of air into her ears, and they vibrate. The air vibrates with her thoughts. She's thinking, I certainly hope I manage to catch this break before Praanz can finish her investigation. If I do this right, if I play Taralese against Praanz the right way, I will get the promotion and Praanz will bite the dust. It's gonna be great.
And I'm guessing Taralese probably sees that little bit of a recognition, or at least growing suspicion, in Nin's eyes.
Maybe.
So, tell me. You didn't seem particularly interested in that scene that was happening in front of us. It seemed you were paying attention to someone else on the other side. Certainly not the pirate.
Oh, I have to make sure that Celicia and Gotthard are none the wiser of our little game, you know.
Yes, but it seems you're playing a side game as well.
Aren't we all?
Of course we are. But tell me, what do you think of Praanz? It's interesting you asked about her.
Praanz has all the subtlety of a wrecking ball, and I do not know why the Digeta Longa sent her. I sense,
So why did they send you?
she will look she's gonna try to keep her face straight at that. Definitely. This calls for a water roll, I feel. Like, you are... Now this is Machinator happening, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. So, spend a fate die, because you're doing a insight thing too, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. 3 dice for you. She has also 3 dice, because I'm going to use another one of mine from the chalice. I'm now down to just 9. I've burnt 3 of my dice for tonight, which isn't a whole lot, I'll admit. So you got 2 4s. She got 1 4. Which means that you cause her 1 point of doubt. She stammers a little bit. Why would you say I am with the Poda Aruks? You have me mixed up with the Digeta Longa. I am simply an accountant, you understand. But an accountant on an important mission for the throne, and as such, my interests are aligned with the Digeta Longas at the moment. I never...
Are they?
Of course they are. We can continue rolling here. You now have a bonus die because you have given her a point of doubt. So you now have... you have... Without even spending a fate die, you now have 3d6. Also, your insight has worked out. So I'm going to give you 4 insight. What she is maybe hiding. Okay, you can guess her true motivations. So I'm going to have to reveal something about her motivations or goals. She... Let me go to my notes. Her motivation. Something that is vague enough, but also precise enough for you. She is a career climber. That is definitely the case. And is trying to undermine Praanz. Basically, if Praanz falls, she can use Praanz as a stepping stone for her own ambitions.
She already knew that, though.
Not if Praanz kills her first.
Not if Praanz kills her first, this is true. But so she has a scheme towards that effect. Like, okay, so the next thing she will need... Okay, that fair enough. She's going to try to... Alright, so since you already knew that, I guess the next bit that you would find out is that she's going to try to undermine the whole investigation into the smuggled swords and let Praanz take the fall for it collapsing. Like, if Praanz fails with investigating the smuggling thing, she can stab Praanz in the back with that and use that to advance her own career.
What if perhaps I could help you get ahead and be the first to claim that you're the one that found it? Take credit.
She says. That sounds remarkably interesting. Tell me more.
You tell me everything that you find. And anytime we find anything regarding the missing weapons, I'll let you know.
Deal.
First things first. Those adventurers, they're the ones. They're involved with it.
And they're being led by the druid, as far as I understand. The
That's
Kmorda
what I've
druid.
heard.
I think they're going to hide the weapons at the Kmorda temple.
Oh, so you did know. Or is that a guess?
It's a guess.
Interesting. Certainly something we'll have to investigate.
Well, think of it. The weapons must have been in the hull of the ship that we traveled with all along. And then they're simply gone with the druid? They pretended they didn't know her. Maybe she's in fact the ringleader for all of them.
Perhaps. She seemed a little too naive. Although, I guess it could be an act, just like Praanz potentially acting like an idiot.
An innocent face can hide a lot behind it.
Very true. Well, if nothing else, we can let Praanz play, what's the term? Meat shield?
Yes, that is the term. It would be sad if Praanz were to travel out on the glacier and maybe fall into a crack or something. All by herself.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
And with that, I think I have something to share with her at breakfast tomorrow morning.
Indeed, yes. The Lady Taralese is weaving such tangled webs. Now, I will advance the clock. Oh, a blizzard? Really? No? No, it's not.
I'm down for it.
Season. The scattered clouds is much more likely. But you are
blizzard.
Indeed woken up at about 3 a.m. or so by sounds of alarm in the night. It's up to you if you want to hearken to them or just turn over in your bed and go back to sleep.
Oh no, sounds of alarm. Praanz immediately jumps out of bed and grabs weapons.
And just rushes out.
Where are these
Military
sounds
training
of alarm?
kicks in.
Oh, Malakai is probably still suffering from the after effects, I'm gonna say.
I'm good with that.
But Praanz can run out. Erald can leave his bed as well if he wants.
Yep. Erald will definitely leave his bed and take Balan with him.
Yep. What about Taralese?
Certainly she's going to throw on a robe and some slippers at least to go out and into the hallways to see where people are headed.
He's catch the gossip.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's fairly simple, in fact. No, I might preach that one. The cause of alarm is, in fact, a fire down by the High Town. Right there. There's a fire burning. It turns out that it is the house of Bodeville Scoffer that is burning. But when you get there, it's just absolutely engulfed in flames. People are working hard on buckets to put out the fire, but it's just a bit too late for this wooden house. Yeah, go ahead.
I start further organizing soldiers just to make sure it doesn't spread to other houses and make sure it doesn't take down the town.
Yeah, Praanz will be busy this night, I'm sure, and get another sleepless night, perhaps. I'm going to add a point of exhaustion to you for that. Erald, if you stay up all night, that will be the same for you.
Now, once Erald realizes that it wasn't the infirmary, yeah, he goes back to bed.
Fair enough. And does Taralese stay up?
Oh, certainly not.
So Praanz is the only one who stays up. We can end this session with the discovery in the wee hours of morning, as the sun comes back up, as the fire has burned out, the ashes are being... Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, Praanz's sense of duty would have kicked in to try and put it out.
Yeah. As the ashes and embers are searched through, there is in fact found in Trevinder de Holmes's room a dead, burned body of a man. Some remains of Trevinder's clothes on this body. And so we end the session of this the banquet of the Nest of Vipers. You are now on the 16th of Vemsica in the wee hours of morning. And we will reconvene in 2 weeks and see where these intrigues and investigations might take you.
Yeah, there's no way that's actually Trevinder.
No.
Nope.
Well, the real question is, was there only one body, and is Skafinder out?
Baudeville Scoffer is fine.
Or Scoffer,
Yeah,
excuse
he
me.
managed to get out. And is absolutely shocked and dismayed and angry and sad because look
That
at
doesn't
his...
mean it's not the body of a slave or some vagrant or...
Or it was all Malik.
Or it was all Malik.
Well, or it's both.
Yeah.
Because maybe Malik meant to try and get Trevinder, but Trevinder figured that, so was taking advantage of the opportunity.
Kills him and then makes it look like its own death.
Dun dun dun.
Well, maybe doesn't count Malik, but some random mook he found on the street, about his own build and height.
Complicated, isn't it? Well, we will have to wait for another couple of weeks before we learn more about this. Thanks for playing, thanks for listening, watching, and we will see you all again.
Hey, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
Hi, folks.